Canada Soccer just released their new 2024 home and away kits, and there's been some mixed reactions to them, so Alex and I thought it would be fun to make a tier list and rank the 20 most memorable Canadian kits, as well as the 2 new ones. So with that being said, let's jump into our tier list. We are kicking off the tier list going all the way back to 1984 with Canada's home kit that Adidas designed. When you look at it, I mean, it reminds me of a penny you'd kind of wear in gym class. That mesh look, I do like it, but, you know, it's very old school. I like the design of the Canada. There's some good memories. It kind of similar to the 86 World Cup one in a way. So all in all, I think it's a pretty clean design. I'm going to go for just a straight up B, which now leaves Alex with the 84 away kit.
Yeah, I think they're of course very similar, but I think what's nice about this 1984 kit, I just like the way the white, the red pops onto that white, the hoop, the collar. I think that's an iconic look that would look great in the 2020s. By the way, I think that's maybe a recommendation for someone to look at that sort of design. But I think because of that, it hits on a lot of the elements that maybe the red one doesn't. The mesh look, the way it doesn't pop as much. So I think I'm going to put this white one slightly above it in A.
All right, our first A is taken, and that's interesting because we're leading into one of the most memorable years ever for Canadian soccer, and that, of course, is 1986 with the Canada home kit, which is actually the white kit. Adidas was once again in charge of that, and this one, again, like when I think back of old school OG kind of Canada kits, these ones come to mind for obvious reasons. Their first ever World Cup. Obviously, they didn't win a match at it. They didn't even score a goal in it, but they were in all 3 matches. I like the design. I like the red one a little bit more, I think, in 86, so I'm going to let Alex rank that one, but I think this is still a very iconic kit, and I think I'm going to move it to, I think I'm going to put it in A, because, again, it's iconic. It's not my favorite design, but it's very iconic, and I think Alex is going to talk about this a little bit as well, but if I had one hanging back up here, it'd definitely be one of my prized possessions.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think what's so special about these 1986 kits is just the meaning of, that first ever men's World Cup, going and playing at that big stage. It's a good look too. Like, I just love especially in the red kit, I love the collar, I love the pattern, I love the way the Canada with that old font pops. And I think it's what's special too is how iconic, how rare it is. You ask any Canadian kit collector what one of their holy grail kits are. A lot of them are going to say this red 1986 World Cup kit. Man, I can't imagine what I'd do if I were able to get my hands on one, even just to look at, let alone wear or own. So I think because of that, just how special, rare, iconic. I mean, come on, this is an S tier kit. I can't imagine we're going to be given many S tiers today, but I think if we're going to have to give one, it has to be that 86 one for obvious reasons.
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know if there's another S tier, but I 100% agree if there is one, that is the one that came to mind, which leads up the next one, which is a very unique kit. It was the first brand change over to Score 1993 away kit. A lot going on with this. I like the design of the number right in the middle of the chest. I think that's kind of cool. I don't like how small the Canada Soccer logo is. You can barely see it. The pattern on the top, like I said, is kind of unique. It's not really doing it for me, but it's definitely a memorable, for better or for worse, kind of kit. So I'm going to lock that into C and set up Alex for, I think, probably, in my opinion, probably the most layered kit, and Alex will get into why.
Yeah, I think what was fun about the 90s was how just chaotic they were. Everyone was just swinging for the fences. It was wild. This was, rainbow goalie kits era. This is just fun things plastered onto a shirt. And what's great about it is sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, but at least you're trying something. And what I love about the 90s Canadian kits is that you can tell they're Canadian. There's maple leaves splashed and big across your chest. And that's what I love about the 96 kit. You look at it, it's a Canadian kit. You're not confusing this with some template kit that you switch the logo out and all of a sudden it's a different country. No, this is a Canadian kit through and thin. It's got the big maple leaf, and I love just the subtle looks of the pattern, like the black logos, the white collar, the way it all pops. And then the best detail is the one you have to look really up close, and I'd love to get my hands on the actual kit to see. It appears that some of the provincial emblems are on the chest. I just noticed because I was looking and I saw, wait, that's BC's like royal crest, and then there was a bunch of other provinces. I thought that was the coolest part. I think slipping in that sort of symbolism to the country, I think it adds to the iconicness of this sort of kit. I know that's not really a word, but that's kind of how I feel about it. So I think this is a pretty high A tier. I don't think it's quite
Yeah.
S tier just because maybe we don't have memories of people playing in that kit as much. But man, I think it's something, if they redid that design today, it would be immensely popular.
That's what I like about like honestly any kit is the hidden meaning. Now this isn't so hidden. I mean, you and I had to look pretty close to make sure that we did see the provinces kind of scattered in this kit. There is a lot going on is the only thing I'd say, but in a good way. I'm a 96 baby is too, so I definitely agree that this is an A tier. And we're going to stay 1996 with the third kit. It's the first black kit coming into this list. And for me, Alex, I love a black kit. I love when clubs all around the world will go into like an all black kit, like the blacked out kind of things. This isn't a blacked out kit, but it is a black kit with the right amount of touches on it. I like the way the logo sits. It's white, it's easy, it's clean. The collar, fantastic. It's got that old school vibe, but in like I mentioned, like the all black kind of look. It's just an overall clean kit. There's nothing crazy going on, but I think for me in this list, it's a high B, just because, like I said, it's very clean. It's the black. There's only one other black kit on this list, so I'm curious to see where we're going to rank it. And I'm pretty happy with that. Throwing it back to Alex for, again, one of the most fascinating kits I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, this one kind of caught our eye for many reasons, and again, we'll just chalk it up to the '90s. Whatever they were
Yeah.
doing in the '90s, bring it back. You know what? I'm here for it. I think we're starting to see that again. So keep it up. This one again, for better or for worse, it's Canadian. You got a giant maple leaf splash on your chest. Unfortunately, I think this one misses. I think just the way the stripes are kind of just thrown on the middle, it doesn't kind of match. Like the maple leaf's kind of out of place. Like there's just little elements of design, like the Umbro logo and the Canada soccer logo are so far apart. It's like complete other sides of the jersey. Like I think there's just a lot about this kit that's, could, I think there's some potential there. Could see some reworking, but look, they swung for the fences. They missed. It's a D tier kit, but that's what I love about the '90s. You either had A tier, you had D tier. I love that they went for it. And it led to a lot more memorable designs than not, I think, in the most part.
Definitely no middle ground there for me. When I looked at it, immediately reminded me of a European referee jersey. I just with a lot going on. I don't know why, that's just where my brain went. But then it leads into a different kind of memorable shirt, because this kit was worn when Canada won their 2000 Gold Cup, when they went on that incredible run. And what I find very unique, now we don't have a great picture of it, but we'll have something else for you guys to take a look up on the screen here. But what I just kind of noticed, Alex, is that when you look at this kit, it's got Adidas, which is the sponsor, then it's got the Canada Soccer logo, and then it's got the number. Very similar to the 2024 kits that just dropped with Nike, Canada Soccer, and then the number again. So I don't know, and I haven't seen anything if they took any ideas from this 2000 kit, because again, it's a memorable kit because we won a Gold Cup. It's an incredible achievement back then, a big moment, and I'm wondering if maybe that had something to do with it, even though I haven't seen anything on it. But due to the fact that it's a clean kit, I think the white personally looks better than the red in that tournament. I'm not crazy about, like I mentioned, I don't like that it's all right in the middle stacked up like that. That's not my favorite, but it does fill me with joy. I remember a lot of our American friends always tripping us that they, for some reason, don't think we've ever won any trophies, but we have, and this was one of them. So I'm gonna slide it in. I'm gonna slide it into the A tier, I think. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put top of B. Top of B, just because I want to stick by my guns. I don't like that it's all in the middle stacked up like that, but it is a memorable kit for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like the reasons, but sticking with the 2000, because man, Canada went really busy on the kits that year. They they have like four, so I guess it must have been a bit of a transition year. We ended up going for this white one, and I love this one. I mean, I'm maybe a bit biased because I own it. It's one of the ones I do have my hands on. I was able to procure it in a thrift store, and it looks great up close. I just mean, look at the red collar, the way it pops. I love it's a bit unique with the white in the middle and the red kind of down the sides, as Adidas loved to do at the time. I just think it's something where What I like about it is it gives a bit of lifestyle. Like it's got the collar, it's got you can wear it and not just be playing footy in it, but then also it kind of gives that classic retro look. I'm gonna go high B for this as well. I think it's something okay. Maybe it's just missing. I think something like maybe a pop. Maybe if it has the leaf in the middle, like one of the other kits, it's an A tier kit, but it's still a very very good B in my opinion.
It's clean, but now we are switching brands once again to Umbro, where they took over for this 2011 home kit. Bit of a different design. They got the simple red, their logo, Canada Soccer logo, and then this kind of black red or black white red, I guess, is on the top in a way, kind of V. It's a nice look. I'm not crazy about it, but it's something different. That's why we put it on this list. I think the white one is just again a little cleaner. I don't know why. I just think it looks better. The white one also has the number on it. I don't know from my memory if the red one had it when they actually wore it. This is just a picture we found on the internet, but I think it's okay. I think I'm gonna drop it high C, just because I don't know, it's just not 100% doing it for me, but I do kind of like the direction they were looking at, and I like the white one more. So I'm curious to see where Al's gonna put that one.
Yeah, I think I really like this white one with the V on it. I think there's just something about the V on the chest, the elements. I love the red, white, black, the colors, the way the red and black kind of meshes in and sits on top of the white. It's funny because it wasn't maybe the most successful period. Like for example, that was the famous World Cup where the women's team didn't win a game. And John Herdman came in as a coach soon after, ahead of the 2012 Olympics. He said, "Hey, I don't want you guys to ever feel that feeling again of how bad that World Cup went," and they channeled it and went and did great at the Olympics. But by then they already switched their kit. But I don't know. I just in my head I have memorable pictures of Christine Sinclair running around with that V on her chest, and something about that white kit and the way it's positioned. Nothing special, nothing to write home about. But I think it's a low end B.
We are sticking in 2012 for this next kit, and it is a very, very special kit. Obviously, the only blue kit you're going to see on this tier list, and it was the anniversary kit celebrating 100 years of the national team existing, and they played the United States on June 3rd, 2012. And I don't know what it is about this kit, because it's very plain. It is just a simple blue kit with that beautiful red maple leaf on it, and I think it's just the fact that it's so simple that it works, and it's so unique that we may never see the national team play in a blue kit again. I hope we do, and I'm pretty sure if you brought out a kit like this today, that fans would go crazy for it. I remember when this kit came out, I loved it back then, I love it now. And again, like we mentioned, if I had it or Alex had it, it could be maybe one of your prized possessions for a collector. So for all those reasons, I think I'm going to slide it up into A, and like I said, very hopeful that maybe we see something similar to it in the future.
Yeah, look, sometimes less is more, right? And I think what's iconic is the memories, the Centurion, right? The fact you're celebrating 100 years. Look, all I'm going to say is, as long as you're not doing anything egregious, like essentially design American themed kit, of course you need a red kit. Maybe probably need a white or black kit, but if you have a third kit, there's nothing wrong with going outside the box every once in a while. I think Germany's made a great pink kit for the Euros, for example. You don't really think pink with Germany, but it works. I think there's maybe some room for more blue kits or any other thing in the future. So just something to remember, maybe heading into 2026. Maybe there could be some sort of, because, hey, that's 40 years since the 86 one. Maybe there's some sort of theme that can be worked out there. Just giving ideas. Continuing on, 2013, I'd say this one, it's pretty solid for a white kit, because I think what we've come to realize in recent years that a lot of the white kits have just been really boring. But I think Umbro, for the most part, did a good job with their white kits. They were subtle. They had nice collars. Like this one has really nice collar, the red and black with the kind of the little slit there at the top that opens up. I think there's a nice little pattern on the chest. Look, it's nothing to write home about, though. I think the V just slightly edges it out. So I'd say it's a high C tier kit, but with the collar, if they could recreate something similar with that collar, I think there's a lot of potential in a white kit like that going forward, and maybe something to look at as they head into the 2026 design process. Because, hey, as we know, sometimes it takes a few years to get these designs over the line. So definitely the time to start thinking about that.
It's definitely a clean kit. So is this next one, and it's actually one of the highest rated kits we found, at least from some of the websites that we've seen, and that is going back to 2018 for Umbro's home kit. Now, if you look at this, again, it looks simple until you look a little bit closer. You have the logos on there as usual, and then you have that pattern on the chest with all these kind of hidden maple leaves that build out this nice little V. It's very unique. It's very cool. I like everything about it. And for that reason, I'm going right to A. I just don't know exactly where to put it in A. I think I'm gonna go just under the crazy 96 kit. I'm curious to see what Alex thinks on this one as well, because like we said, this was the favorite. This seems to be Canada's favorite kit in terms of ratings on the websites that we found, and I think it's mainly because it's just a unique pattern that kind of represents our country.
Interesting enough, I'd maybe even put it S tier. I think high A, low S is fair. And I think the reason why is because this is the standard of what the red kit should be to me. I think the red kit, of course, it's home, it's red, it's Canada, should always be red. But I love the maple leaf design, and that always just stuck out to me seeing this shirt in person. The way they were able to take the maple leaf in design into that V at the chest. And I think that's kind of like where some of the other red kits we really liked, right? Like the 96 red one. Like you just love how Canadian it is. Like you see the maple leafs, you see the red, and I think those two things should always be the bare minimum when you're making a Canadian home kit. And I don't know, something about the 2018 design might be one of the best ways they've ever executed it. So I think high A is fair. I think just personally for me, maybe it's because it's more recent, I've had the chance to really see it a lot. I'd borderline put it low S tier, but definitely I think a design that they should look at hard and long and see what they can take out of it, because it was a beauty. And speaking of just that being the bare minimum for a home kit, I think this is why this next one is super, super special. And of course, most people are going to know this one. This is the 2021 women's kit. And it just happens to be the kit they went out and won Olympic gold in. Of course, there were some tweaks because, under IOFC rules, you can't actually have Federation crest on. So they actually had a bit of a different logo, like it was a Canada flag, I think, with the Olympic rings. But you know what that kit is it's special. It's everything it should be. Again, like there's maple leaf patterns. It's very red, very just recognizable, very noticeable. It was just a great kit already. And then they go out and win a gold medal. Such a historic moment for the women's program, for the Canada soccer as a whole, the sport in this country, going out and being recognized as the best in a best on best soccer tournament. I mean, come on, if we're going to give something an S tier, I think this one has to slot right in for obvious reasons.
Now, are you going to put it at the top of S or still second?
I think we're going to put it as a tie. You can. It's up to you to, okay. Maybe for some of you, 86 is fonder memories. Look, you and I were both alive and watching this 2021 one, so it means a little more to me than 86, where 86 kind of has that iconic status of, maybe your parents kind of sitting down and telling you the legend of the 86, where you saw the 2021 team with our own eyes and saw how iconic that is. So I think it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I was about a year into making content on YouTube. I was in a watch along with about 500, 600 people, Canadians cheering for the women to win. And when they won, I grabbed a big thing of maple syrup, and I started chugging it like the true Canadian I was. So I definitely remember where I was when the women struck gold and those incredible kits. So I agree with you. I'd maybe even lean towards them because, again, I'm of the younger generation. But Alex, I'm going to do these next two kits back to back, and it's mainly because they're, in my opinion, both busts for different reasons. The first one is a kit that should have meant a lot to us because, again, it's the first World Cup that I was able to watch the men qualify for, the 2022 ones. But I'm going to go back to the disappointment of, because this was the first World Cup that the men qualified for in 36 years since the 86 World Cup, there was so many rumors that they were going to make it and design it off of that first World Cup that the men played for, and instead we got this questionable kit where for me, it's almost too simple. I think the sleeves don't work. I don't like the color. I don't like the way that they cut off just literally right at the armpit. It was just, for me, it was a complete miss. I'm going to put it bottom of C. And then they followed up with that disappointment right after the World Cup by coming out with these 2023 kits. And I can't even tell you really what color that is that Nike decided to go for. I don't like the way it looks coming all the way around. Again, I don't know that, they went too short in my opinion here. They went too much, covering the whole thing in this ugly kind of orange, unfortunately for them. I just think it was a complete miss once again. And the disappointment of both of these backing up is that they got a pretty bad feedback on the 2022 one, because it could have been such a memorable moment to tie into our first World Cup, and it was just a complete missed opportunity. Then to follow it up and somehow make it worse, probably going to put that into the bottom of D. I'd prefer the almost referee looking European kits for me. I don't think you have much issues with that, Alex, but I'm gonna let you do the next two as well. And I honestly think you got two bangers coming up, so I'm curious to see where you're gonna put those two.
Yeah, thankfully I don't have to talk about the abomination that is 2023 with the like. Come on, is that puke orange? Like
Yeah,
genuinely, and the fact you
no
add in
doubt.
that it's a template, like come on. So thankfully I'm not going to waste too much energy on that. This one's tough. I think the first one we started with 2023 black. I think this is an example of why sometimes kits they need to grow, they need time to grow, because ultimately what happens in kits is what determines how special they are. And I think what's interesting is these black kits, from a design perspective, they're nothing special. It's black with a bit of pattern and a Canada logo, but it's memorable because especially Canada over the last few years under John Herdman, they really made black their own in the sense that they wore it for such memorable games. Like think Ice Tech, think beating, the Canada US game at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. Like you think of some of those moments, they were wearing black. It was special. Heck, even they wore it at the World Cup. Yeah, they didn't end up having the greatest game, but there's just something about it where just, they were wearing black and it just hit in a different way. I have actually the black kit at home too, and it's something, again, nothing to write home about. So because of that, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B. Like, look, let's not pretend and be like, oh, this is an S or A. But I think this shows that sometimes if you have the right kit and it comes at the right time, you just remember it for what it ended up meaning. And I think that this black kit's an example of, who knows, maybe where this new kit will be remembered in a few years. Like if Canada goes out and has a great Copa America, maybe you're going to remember it a lot better than if they go out and miss out on the Copa America altogether, right?
Absolutely, and I'm leaving you with the final banger before we get into I think the most interesting debate, and that is going to be the 2024 kits. So, last one, Alex, before we get into the good stuff.
Yeah, and again, I think this was another banger on the women's side. They've been really nailing their kits over the last few years, it must be said. Again, everything I want. It has red, it has the maple leaf design, this time all over the entire kit, which I thought was great. Then they mixed in the black too, and I think that's maybe a combo we haven't seen enough of, really. And maybe that's, for example, again, the 96 one. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's so beautiful. What I love about the 96 was red, black, and white. That combo needs to be used more. And this, latest, it ended up being used for, of course, the 2023 World Cup. Red, black, and a bit of white. You got the maple leafs. You got everything I like. I mean, come on, this is an A tier kit. And it's a real shame that, it looks like they'll only have used it for a year, because I think I would have loved to see them continue for a year, because I love it, especially when you add in the black shorts, black socks. Something about it just, it gives a nice bit of fear factor while it's about looking very Canadian.
I was going to say I would have preferred that to the next kits we're about to talk about for the both men and women to wear it going forward. I would have been totally fine with that. I think it's an excellent design. I would have put it right up there in A, even maybe middle A. But the reason I'm assuming a lot of you guys clicked on this video is to see some amazing kits, yes, but it's because of the reactions that we are seeing on the 2024 kits. Because like I said, they are questionable. Now, I touched on that 2000 Gold Cup kit and why I said that there's some design. So I'm going to let Alex speak of the home one, and I'm going to touch quickly on the away one. And I got the better of the two. I think we can easily agree on that. The white one, a little bit is growing on me. I like the fact that they have the 13 little pinstripes for our provinces and territories. I think that's a very cool little addition. Like I said, I don't like the Nike and the big bubble around it. I think it's a terrible design that way. I can't get over the fact that every time I look at it, it reminds me of a baseball jersey. I don't know why. I can't get over it. But of the two, it's definitely the cooler of the two. It's unique. If you look at it compared to all these other kits right here, it's not even really like a white, at least from what I'm looking at here. It's almost like I'm not even sure what color that is, but it's doing something more for me than the red one, but it's not doing enough to get any type of I'm gonna slide it right in there. Low C, okay look, but for me again a bit of a miss. Alex, ended off the video with the home kit. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to unpack from both of these. There's positives, for example. Don't forget, I think one thing that's worth noting is that at least there appears to be some sort of unique design to Canada, like the 13 provinces. One thing that I've found interesting, the Nike logo is actually a bit of a throwback, because before Nike used to be big in the hockey game, and there's a lot of things where they had that bubble logo. So them using it, it's actually a nod to that. And I know some older fans who were more around for that era of Nike hockey actually really appreciated that. So I think that's maybe something that's under the radar, but I think they could have done so much better with this red kit in particular. I think just the shoulders are too jarring. It kind of gives a bit more like uniform, like almost a retail kind of uniform. I don't mind logos in the center. I'm not that picky. I think if you can execute it right, there's been some examples of some great kits. Like Nigeria, for example, has done logo in the middle and really nailed it. I just think there's maybe there could have been a bit more done around it to make it, to center it and really get the most out of it. And I think, I just think the logo, the circle logo, the way it was done, maybe it would have been best if it was on the right and the kind of logo on the left. I think if you're going to stack everything, there was already too much going on for there to then be the circle Nike logo. So look, let's put this at the top of D. It's something where maybe we'll visit this in a few years. Maybe, who knows? There's we've been talking a lot about timelines and alternative realities. Maybe Canada goes and wins a Copa America and it's our favorite kit ever. But unless that happens, it's going to stick in D for now, and we'll have to see how it grows on us.
That is our completed tier list. We took a look at 22 kits. Let us know what you guys think about our ranking, if you would change anything, and also let us know down in the comments section what your favorite Canadian kit is of all time. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, we'll see you guys soon. Cheers, friends!